Much thought needs to go into the physical space of your classroom, as well as other spaces within the school. You'll need to plan well for you and your students to feel comfortable and to have the most effective learning environment. Think carefully about the seating arrangements as the first order of business. How can you provide a maximum amount of space for each student? Where will you do whole group work, small group work, and work with individuals? Where will students do literacy rotation centers? Where will you hold readers and writers workshop? Accommodate the type of instruction and activities you use most often in the way you plan your space. Also, it's important to ensure a flexibility that allows students to easily and quickly rearrange furniture to accommodate a special activity. Make sure that you can move about the classroom easily, providing just-in-time instruction to students as they need it. When you think about where to put your desk, consider the back of the room and off to the side to allow for private conferences and personal workspace. Consider also having a rolling stool and clipboard for a portable desk that allows you to be all about the classroom, working one-on-one with students. Your desk should be neat and tidy. It should be a model of a working space that allows for maximum efficiency and effectiveness. You should have a drawer that locks for the storage of student records, their assessment results, and communications. Also, ensure the security of your digital records. If you know that your class includes students with disabilities, such as those with hearing impairment, poor vision, or those who may need wheelchairs or other assistive devices, consider the accommodations you need to make in your classroom arrangement when you begin your planning. If you have students with ADD or ADHD, they may need to be up front with minimal distraction. However, I did once have a student with ADHD that needed to be seated in the very back of the room so that he could stand at his desk and move about on his feet as needed. As you get to know your students, you'll want to change things around using macro and micro adjustments as needed. I always had assigned seats, but I literally changed them daily during the first weeks of school. I just told my students to expect that they might be sitting somewhere different every day. Think about where and how you'll store materials, especially those that will need to be accessed by the students. As you plan the decor, think about how to make your students feel safe and welcome and empowered to learn. In my classroom, a high-frequency word wall and an academic word wall were always non-negotiable, along with fun and motivational posters. Make sure wherever you are that you can see all of the students at all times. During small group and individualized instruction, you must maintain an awareness of what is going on in the space, so arrange things and work areas where you have clear lines of sight. Have materials where students are able to get what they need easily. Have various working spaces, and let students choose where to learn. Another thing you'll want to think about is when students are going to other places besides the classroom in the school, they need to know how to get there and back and how to use those spaces. Consider thinking about the bathroom, the water fountain, visits to the office, library, cafeteria, and playground. These are important areas to make sure that students know what you expect in regards to procedures. I had a student once, his name was Michael, many years ago, who taught me a good deal about procedures. He actually taught me how to be willing to break procedure. In my classroom, I asked students, I would tell them, whenever you need to go to the bathroom, you can hold up your hand and simply make the T for toilet. That's a sign language symbol. And if it's not a good time in the middle of what I'm teaching you, if you'll miss something very important, I'll ask you to wait just a few minutes. Michael was a student who held up his hand. He made that symbol. He wanted to go to the restroom, and I asked him to wait. I was teaching something super important, or so I thought. Michael again asked in a couple of minutes, and again I asked him to wait. And then I saw Michael's face fall, and he actually had wet his pants. And this was a 5th grade student. And I'll never forget when I realized what had happened, I dismissed the class and I said, Michael, I'm so sorry. And he had such pain on his face, and he said, "You wouldn't let me go to the bathroom." I think it's important for us to not put our students in that position. We wouldn't want to be in that position. So every procedure that you establish, especially for the bathroom, recognize you may need to alter that procedure for some students on some days.